What it do, crew? My name is Ver and welcome back to the channel. So guess what? Got a couple things to update you on. One, I got a haircut. Check it out. If you're familiar with my channel, me and my fiance were actually featured on CNBC Make It's YouTube channel on their segment of Millennial Money. There was a spin-off segment that was called Millennial Mortgage, and the video was titled Buying a $599K Townhouse in Los Angeles. Wait for it. Millennial Money. I think they actually changed it from Millennial Mortgage to Millennial Money pretty recently, but it's most likely for the algorithm. The reason why I wanted to bring this up is because I actually never reacted to it. It's funny because me and my fiance were featured because we obviously both bought the house, but I was originally the only one who applied to be on Millennial Money. Anyways, I haven't done a reaction video to this, so let's do that now. Go ahead and obliterate the like button, and let's do this.
Having something to your name, it feels great. Like people will say like, you don't own the home, the bank owns the home. But if your name is on the title, you own it.
I want to clear some things up about this real quick. So that opening statement triggered a lot of people because they say we don't own the home. We have a mortgage, so the bank owns the home, which technically they're right. We don't own the home outright, but our names are on the title given any liens on the home.
Our home was priced at $599,000 and we put 10% down. I'm Starr.
And I'm Janelle Yee, and we just bought our first home in Gardena, California.
Wait a second. I think it's missing something.
I'm Starr.
And I'm Janelle Yee,
and we just bought our first home in Gardena, California,
which is 20 minutes south of Los Angeles.
That actually took me 4 times just to do that. I remember when we were filming that, it took us probably maybe 4 or 5 times too. Also, I did say that Gardena, California is about 20 minutes south of LA. It is on the expressway.
We were looking for a place for almost a year and a half.
We knew right away that this was going to be a longer term home for us. We put the offer down immediately when we actually viewed it.
Yeah, it did take us a long time to find this place. I mean, we were working with our real estate agents for a year and a half. We were looking, I believe, in Koreatown, which is where we were living in at the time. We looked up in the valley, like Burbank, Van Nuys, and then we looked out in the 626 out east from downtown. And then we found this place just south of LA. So it did take a while, and there was just so many different things like bid wars and all that stuff, which we'll talk about.
So I actually work remote, and location for me wasn't a huge factor. Ver actually works in Santa Monica, so we do like that it allows him to have that commuter experience. So he does take the buses and train over to work.
So if you haven't noticed, I actually switched my channel name back to Starr, the commuter experience. So it's funny because a lot of you probably don't get that, but if you're new to the channel, basically that was how the commuter experience came to be. Basically, my fiance was trying to explain why did we move down to Gardena if it's so far from downtown LA. When I was commuting from just central LA, it would take me about 45 minutes to an hour just to get there. Even I was taking a bus and a train because I didn't want to drive. That would take an hour with traffic. So given that we moved to this place down here, which was geographically further away, it took the same amount of time. Also, it's worth to note that when I'm on the train or the bus, I'm not consciously driving. I'm not looking at the road because I'm just a passenger. I did a lot of things, and this is where people take this for granted. Like, you're wasting your time just commuting on the train or the bus. Yeah, you could be sleeping. Yeah, you could have a longer amount of time with your loved ones. But what I would do is I would read. I had my pocket Wi-Fi on my phone, so I could just turn that on and work on my laptop before I get into the office. I could get a good amount of work done before I actually got in.
And this little room right here is actually just right next to the living room. It's just like a den. As you can see, it's a computer setup. This is my area.
This is exactly where we're at right now.
And a lot of my work is done digitally because it is a remote type of role.
You know what's crazy? My fiance has been working from home for over, I believe, 2 years now, 2.5 years now. When she quit her previous job, she got into a full-time remote role, and this is why she has her own office. She could probably write that off, a portion of it, and it's really useful to her. And then since I would commute, there was about a time, maybe about like a little less than a year, where she would be, alone at home. And then since now we're just working from home together now, she's like my office mate.
When it's a real estate agent who's representing the buyer actually doesn't pay anything to the real estate agent that is.
And that statement about how when you're buying a home, you don't pay anything, at least directly to the agent that is representing you. It's baked into the sales price of the home. So basically a seller has to sign an agreement where when they sell the home, 6% of the sales cost goes to the agent. So you have the selling agent who typically takes 3%, and then the other 3% goes to the buying agent representing the buyer. And then check it out here. So here were our upfront costs just over a year and a half ago. We put a down payment of about $60,000 in the description. I think a lot of people did not read this in the description. My fiance put down more money up front. She put $45,000. I only put $15,000. So I just wanted to clear that up in this video. And then I paid for everything else, like the remainder of the down payment and everything else, like the appliances, the closing costs. And I take care of the utilities. Anyways, so we put the $60K down, and then you see appliances. We spent $4,000 or over $4,000. We only bought a washer dryer combination and a refrigerator. The reason why that cost so much is because it was brand new, and we didn't shop around. We didn't go to like Sears outlet to look for like a floor model, but that's the reason why it costs so much. Closing costs, these are typically 1 to 3% of the purchase price. This was I think after credits were applied. Home inspection, that was part of the closing costs, just we separated it out. And then we did pay movers to move from our original central LA location down to Gardena, which it only took 1 day.
Closing costs for buyers is like 3%.
So our current mortgage is $2,663, which is the interest and principal alone. That doesn't include the impound account or the escrow account, which would typically pay for the property taxes and the homeowner's insurance. So as you can see here, we have the property taxes, which is about $697 per month. We put a little bit more in the escrow account to cover that, plus the homeowner's insurance is the $30 per month up above. We have an HOA fee that we have to pay separately, which that only includes landscaping and basically all external stuff. We have a common area where there's a barbecue, but we don't have a pool. We just don't have anything else other than that common area, and we barely go out there to use that. Electricity is $110 a month, which will change once the solar panels are activated. I did mention that those were activated, and then our monthly spending on electricity is only now like, $30. PMI. So this is private mortgage insurance. Basically, when you put less than 20% down on a home purchase, you have to pay private mortgage insurance. Essentially, you as the buyer have to make sure that if you were to default, you're paying for that insurance that will cover the lender giving you that money. Me and my fiance are currently in a refinance where we're going to get rid of that. So I'll probably release a video about that later. Water trash recycling, $80. That's typical. And then, like I said, homeowners insurance, that's there. So with that, if and after we do the refinance, our monthly expenses are going to go down almost, I think, $1,000.
All throughout high school and college, I was also working multiple positions. Along with those savings, I started working for a nonprofit, part-time remote, along with working a full-time job. So that helped me save a little bit faster and also build my capital.
A lot of people don't give her credit. Like my fiance is a hustler. She works a full-time job. She had a part-time job when she was working that full-time job so she can make more money. When we work out in California, we have federal income tax as well as state income tax. So your take-home pay after all that is a lot less than if you were to be somewhere else. So she wanted to make more money so she could save and invest. And she's been building her nest egg fund like way before I did. She worked 3 jobs in college. Me, I was in college. I had a job at the help desk, which was only part-time with my busy schedule. But she's been making a lot of money.
Since I work remote, I usually just eat at home, and I don't really need to go out for lunch.
It's funny how they do that. So we don't eat out a lot, but when we were done filming that day, we were like, hey, we live down the street from In-N-Out. So we went to In-N-Out right after that.
I make my own cold brew, and this is why we were able to get a house, because I save money on coffee.
Yes! Yes! You see that? That is the pinnacle of this whole video, is making my own coffee, because say you go to Starbucks. You could spend $5 to $6 on a drink. Sometimes people go every single day, so that's what? 7 times 5, that's like $35 a week, $40 a week on just coffee. Basically, all this is saying is because I'm saving that money, if I take that difference, put it into a broad index fund like the S&P 500, 7% on average adjusted for inflation with dividends reinvested, over 40 years, that's going to be over $1 million. So the house pays for itself by me just drinking coffee that I make at home. If you can appreciate that, obliterate the like button.
Usually the prices will be a little lower if you just have to commute an extra 20 or 30 minutes. So for example, we're in Gardena, California. It's about 20 to 30 minutes away from central LA and also the main part of the city. So that was a little bit of a sacrifice we had to make.
I also want to clear the air on this. It was my idea to do this. She asked me, would I be okay with commuting this far to work? And I was. So let me just say this. It wasn't her idea. If you thought it was her idea, or if you want to blame my fiance, it wasn't. I wanted it because, one, we've already paid so much in rent. Rent was high. We wanted to start paying a mortgage to where we gain equity into something to own and not to just someone else, right? That is the reason why we bought. And I was like, I'm okay with this sacrifice of having to commute. I mean, look how it turned out. Just doing that commute for less than a year. Less than a year. Now we're just working from home. That's just the way it is, right? I'm really glad that we made that decision because right now the inventory is really low. Despite these low interest rates, like you can get a mortgage easily with cheap money, but there's hardly anything to buy. I'm just really glad we were able to get this.
When we spoke with a real estate agent, they wanted us to get pre-approved, and that involves, having your W-2s, your tax statements, your proof of funds, and then, submitting it to a lender.
When you are about to make a big purchase and you're going to finance it, get a mortgage, get a loan, you will need to prepare bank statements, tax statements, annual statements like your pay stubs and all that. And then if you have any other investments, like if you do have real estate investments, you will want to have the mortgage documentation on that as well as the lease agreements on that. So the lender knows that you're making some cash flow on that. If there's a separate bank account, you'll need that bank account as well. They'll also have to do like credit checks. So make sure you have a good credit score. Make sure you're not carrying any high interest debt or a lot of it. Make sure that you're on time with your payments. Obviously, the credit score will be a reflection of that. So there's a lot of preparation when you have to get a mortgage or a loan or just any big purchase like this. Lenders are very meticulous about these details because of what has happened in the past, like in 2008. So don't be like that. Be responsible and have these things prepared ahead of time if you're even considering buying a home.
And we got a pretty good rate at 4.125% on a 30-year fixed rate.
4.125%. You know what interest rates are right now? Below 3%. That is why we're refinancing. So if you have the means to refinance your home, I would say do it. If you have the means to purchase a home and you can get an interest rate this low, I would say do it. You'll have some competition, but if there is any way you can purchase a home right now, now is the best time with the interest rates being so low. It is cheap money. Like, it is cheap money. I will say that. Talking about money, I forgot to mention that today's video is brought to you by Vice Props. Check this out, guys. I was given $10,000 just to say that last bit right there. Basically, given $10,000 just to mention the sponsor on this video is what's up. Like, check this out. I have $10,000 I could just throw at my fans. I got $10,000 to throw at my haters. I got $10,000 just throw up in there. And I got this just to be able to do something like that. Check that out. Ain't that cool? It's pretty convincing, right? Anyways, check out Vice products. There's some links in the description below where you can get some of your own Vice props.
You have to pay for things outside of the mortgage, outside of the loan, outside of the down payment, such as an inspection. It's a new build, so there wasn't a lot of issues with that.
Hey, I could do that too. Check that out. Vice props, baby.
Buying a house or just a property or anything like that, it's like once you go through it once, you know that you can get through it.
Yeah, now that we understand the process firsthand, I think it's definitely something we can do in the future.
CNBC Make It buying a 599K townhouse in LA. We're currently still the only millennial mortgage or millennial money buying a house or buying a home feature in LA. I sure hope CNBC Make It makes another one. I know Millennial Mortgage doesn't get as many views as Millennial Money, but it was a really fun experience. Having this video come out just a year ago, like a lot has changed. We've grown from it. We're making more money now because of promotions, switching jobs. Also, December 12th, 2019, that was a day before Janelle's birthday. If you haven't wished her happy birthday, hop down in the comments, wish her a happy birthday. With that said, everyone, thanks so much for watching the video. If you haven't already done so, please obliterate the like button if you like this content. Press the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you know the next time I post a video on my channel. Here's my Instagram. You can find me there. We do have fun there where I post stories about random things that could be related to this or something else. Check me out there, DM me there, do whatever you'd like. Also, if you want to get started in investing, if you're a millennial, if you're not a millennial, if you want to start making money like the people on Millennial Money, get free stocks in the description below. You get 5. One link goes to Webull, where you get 4 free stocks, one of them valued up to $1,600, putting in $100. And then you can get another free stock on Robinhood. And then one last thing, go to millennial.investments after this video. It's a website. I kid you not. You just go to your browser, type in millennial.investments, put your email in there. Me and a couple friends are doing that, bringing you more cool content like this. Stay well, stay healthy. With the knowledge that you gained from this video, let's get to work.